A KY3 storm mode alert.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 3:09, and we have two new tornado warnings to tell you about.
The air rises in here, comes down around the backside, and then rotates in.
We are tracking this storm. It is right along Highway 7, likely producing a tornado. So this is the area that you've got to be taking seriously right now. If you know anybody in this area, call them. Tell them to get off the roads. It's right along Highway 7. If you yourself are traveling, I need you to pull over. Find a structure, find a safe spot.
This is all the heavy rain shaft that we've got going on. And then it looks like it kind of dries up a little bit right here. And this would be the potential tornado right in here. Now, it's a long way from this camera on 76. We're kind of obscured by the gorilla and the water tower. But if there is anything on the ground, it is going to be right in this vicinity here.
There was not a lot of damage to the houses themselves, but as you can see, there's trees along the line that went down. You can also see, let me get behind the camera for you guys. So you can see that some of these trees actually got uprooted.
And folks need to be very careful when you're out driving like this afternoon. If you can't actually see the funnel, what you have to look for in situations like this is you want to be looking for power flashes where it may intersect power lines and transformers may blow. That's something that you'll want to look for as you're going to be out on the road.
And if you're traveling between Springfield and Branson, you are caught in incredible rain. There's also been hail reports coming out of this. I saw some hail reports earlier from Kimberling City of dime-size hail. I'd be willing to bet that there's some larger hail within this core.
Remember, oftentimes people say, well, it wasn't raining. I mean, we had this heavy rain, we had this hail, then there was this period of quiet, then we were hit with a tornado. This is what we're seeing take place here. We're in the shaft of the heavy rain right now on Chateau. Then behind this heavy rain, there's going to be a calm period. And then we notice these lowered bases right in here. And here's another lowered base right in here.
You can see that little couplet see right over Neosho. That's the area that we're watching. And the reason that this section of the viewing area is now under a tornado warning.
Kind of this shelf cloud in here, and we're getting this heavy rain and the wind. And then behind it, we kind of get that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There we go, right in there.
But essentially, you got a jet stream coming over the top of south surface winds. Imagine that's what this is. And so you create this twisting motion that's horizontal, and then when the storms develop, upward motion moves across that and draws it up into the storm and tightens it, much like when an ice skater is twirling around as she brings her arms in and she spins faster. That's kind of the same thing here. So that's why we watch these boundaries, these little boundaries where these storms pick up. We can see tornadic action go real quick.
No, there's been no injuries reported to my office as of right now. Like I said, we still do have deputies out in that Squires area where the video was sent of that tornado. We're trying to make sure that, we don't have any homes hit that we don't know about.
So here's the wall cloud. Remember I told you we had that lower base out there that was obscured by the rain. Look at how well defined this wall cloud is. It comes down and it is just a rectangle right in here.
We've had so many different tornado warnings today. We've had multiple reports of funnels. We've had reports of damage. This is video from Ozark County out toward Theodosia. And what was the name again? Sandra Wade. Okay, it's on there. She sent us this, and it's hard to tell just looking at the video if it actually got all the way to the ground, but it certainly looks like it could have. We had reports of the funnel there. Of course, you see it. Pretty low hanging.
This is FI-ing in here. I need for all the folks down in here, I need for you guys to be in your tornado shelters right now.
We've been focused on the tornadoes earlier today especially, but we've also had some storms producing high wind, and we're looking at outages from the Empire District. We're looking at Dade County, kind of back over to the Missouri-Kansas line. In Dade County, we've got not quite 400 people that are out of power there.
And you can see that some damage is rather extensive to some homes and outbuildings. This looks like it may be a tractor barn of some sort, or a house, or some sort of equipment thrown into a house.
I am in Bergman. I'm off Daniels Road. It's kind of in between Bergman and the Lead Hill area, and we had a lot of damage. We still have a lot of damage that people are cleaning up. You can see a trailer here right behind me that actually got flipped over entirely, and over here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but there are some horses back there that are stuck in this fenced-in area because they can't get out, and there's trees that are in their pen with them.
And this is video of that tornado, folks. This is absolutely stunning. We have several videos like this, but that's a large tornado, and the kind that we typically just I mean, to use the cliche, see on TV, right? And this happened today in Boone County, and Lead Hill and Bergman, not a tremendous distance away, but enough that that's a pretty long tornado track.
So the roofing torn off of this structure, the plywood gone. You're back up here to the support beams and the trusses on the house.
This time, the sirens were so loud, it was deafening. You couldn't miss the howl that was screeching in the night of the wind and the sirens competing for everyone's attention. As soon as that started, most of the town rushed back here to the American Legion to seek shelter in the basement. They'd been doing this all day, off and on. This time, the water came with them. Flooding started becoming an issue later this evening as more warnings started coming out about potential flooding.
Check this out. Strong wind caused this damage in Branson as well. Photos are from the Great Adventures mini golf course where the wind knocked over the trees there, knocked the fence over, and caused some damage there. We're told the golf course itself is in pretty good shape and will be open for business tomorrow. And then heavy rain. Boy, that's the biggest problem as we go forward now because the rain is going to continue throughout the night.
Way down here, right along Highway 65, moving northeast. So Branson likely safe from that storm. However, areas between there and Forsyth, kind of up there along Highway 76, this area very hilly, full of trees.
I wanted to show you some of the flooding, though, here in Ava. This was sent in by Christina, and you can see how the water's just coming across the roads there. We've had a lot of reports of some pretty significant flooding in that area. And that's one of the spots that has been particularly hard hit through the course of the evening with all that heavy rain round after round of storm. I want to show you this next photo here. This comes to us from Ozark. And look at that. That is some pretty significant damage there in Ozark. We did get some reports of some of that significant damage in that Waterford subdivision there.
I'm still out in Wheaton. The rain is still coming down. You can see the lightning behind me. It's been thundering, and it's really been raining pretty hard for the last hour and a half. But many homes and barns took the brunt of the storm. I talked with one family earlier today. They hid out in their storm shelter as the storm rolled through. The Shaws tell me it was the first time they've ever experienced anything like this. They heard the eerie sounds of the freight train, and thankfully they were all safe.
We was in the house and saw it top the trees there and got in the truck and tried to race away from the storm.
Kind of a train going through, really. It just sounded like a giant vacuum cleaner, kind of.
People in Boone County say they were shocked at the damage this storm left.
Probably the trees, really. How a tree could be plucked out of the ground and cast off. That's probably the craziest thing I've seen.
The Boone County Office of Emergency Management reported a dozen homes were damaged and at least one was flattened out.
We heard it coming and we seen it. We seen it coming down through the valley there, and we just prayed a little bit, jumped in the truck, and headed home to check on Mom.
And since we've been standing out here tonight for the last couple of hours, really since 3:15, we've seen volunteer firefighters in and out of that station. People have been bringing them food just because they know that they have been working so hard since that what's thought to be a tornado came through at about 3:15 today.
And when I say that this is far from over, I mean you have to have a way to wake up tonight. Before you go to bed, you have to have a way to get your watches and your warnings. You might need to get up out of bed and move to your safe place and put that safety plan into action. Wow. Yeah, that's the cell. They were able to drop that warning. Good news, but you can see why it was worn so long.
And we also have a new damage report. The Logan Rogersville Fire Department is responding to possible home destroyed on Harmony Avenue south of US 60. That's near 205 and 60. So that, again, is going to be in the Logan Rogersville area.
So this was actually a warning that came out early this afternoon. I think actually I broke in around this one.
That was for the same one that was near Bergman, right?
It was, yes, similar cell, and it was around 3 p.m. So these are actually kind of some delayed damage reports, but you can see likely some tornado damage from this area as well. Look at this home. That's devastating. This is near Rogersville. I mean, that is a substantial home. We are seeing significant damage. This is what we do not want to see in the Ozarks tonight. We have heard of a few injuries reported across the Ozarks, a lot of those coming to us from portions of Christian County in that Waterford neighborhood where we saw some substantial homes damaged across the Ozarks. I just wanted to let you know that. Look at all of that lightning that's coming out of this storm. It's very powerful.
And we're looking here at the red counties in particular. Those are the areas that we still have quite a few outages. Now, this does not include city utilities in Greene County, but right now, just about 1,500 customers in Greene County without power.
It's basically from Farm Road 186
the 60 highway, and then 205 on the west, and 230 on the east. There's 20, 25, maybe more houses in there, and a lot of those are heavily damaged. And then we have another area of damage that we're working in the area of 125, D South, 241, and AD on the north. And that's more of just trees blown up on houses or on houses more than the houses are destroyed.
Dozens of utility poles are down in the Rogersville area. You're seeing some damage there behind us, too.
These are pictures from the Logan-Rogersville area. Chief Richard Sturtz joins us with the cleanup effort there. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
Let's start with the damage you've seen to homes. How many homes?
I'd say we're in the neighborhood of 50 plus. It stretches over about 6 miles, and we have from trees on houses to houses that are completely destroyed in the path of this storm.
You said 5 to 6 miles of damage.
Yeah, it starts just comes out of Christian County over on Farm Road 194 and runs northeast all the way up to the James River, just north of AD Highway.
Yeah, I'm on Farm Road 213, just south of Highway 60, west of Rogersville. As you can see behind me, there is debris everywhere. One home destroyed. You can see right here, large trees uprooted and debris covering everything except for the roads that they're trying to get cleared today. As I mentioned, one house in this area destroyed, while others have heavy damage. Lots of family and friends of the residents here are helping pick up what is salvageable, and they're beginning to clean up debris this morning.
Picking up the pieces, the debris cleanup across the Ozarks after multiple rounds of severe weather.
I couldn't believe it, hearing everything shake and the glass break.
I mean, we're just all really, really thankful nobody was in there.
45 tornado warnings issued. The big concern now, flooding, with Ava getting more than 7 inches of rain. Team coverage tonight on the damage across the Ozarks, the hundreds of volunteers helping those impacted, and what we can expect next. And hi there, I'm Ethan Forhetz. First on this Wednesday, flooding concerns and storm damage cleanup following a busy night of tornadoes, strong storms, and heavy rain across the Ozarks. One area of concern now is the Rubidoux Creek. This is video of that creek spilling out of its banks at the Upton Access in Pulaski County. KY3 viewer Carla Roderick sent us this video. The creek flows into the Gasconade River and is known for flash flooding. We have team coverage tonight of all the areas across the Ozarks that were hit, focusing on flooding, storm damage, and cleanup efforts going on right now.
Around 8 this morning, Sheriff Krista Gast and deputies were called to Vera Cruz, in Missouri Department of Conservation area that's popular with fishermen and campers.
The tent was still relatively close to where it had been set up at. So what we had to do was wait for the water to go down because we couldn't find the male subject. I came down about noon. And shortly after getting here, I was flagged down by a citizen of Douglas County that had driven on down the road past where we're at now and had seen the body off the road.
And tonight we know information just came in. It was an EF2 tornado confirmed that hit there. Amazingly, there were just 3 injuries, and none of them life-threatening. Joe Hickman is in Ozark tonight, where the cleanup has been underway since sunup. Joe.
But one thing we've learned is that tornadoes do not discriminate. They go after mobile homes, they can go after farmhouses, subdivisions, and even large metropolitan areas like Joplin.
That system that hit Ozark is likely the same system that damaged between 50 and 75 houses to the northeast in the Rogersville area. Not a confirmed tornado there yet. The National Weather Service is still working on that, but we can tell you its path of destruction stretches for about 6 miles.
This is just one of 6 buildings that the Hughes family lost to yesterday's storm. And this house was actually a 2-story house. And what happened was the tornado came through and took out the bottom level. The bottom level was a garage space. And then what happened was the top half just fell down onto this concrete slab. So really just a disaster here where this home once was. And of course, there is debris everywhere. Boards, big old pieces of metal. It is just a mess out here. And one thing is for sure, yesterday's storm definitely showed its strength here in Berry County.
sifting through what's left.
Our pictures and clothes.
After a tornado tore through this home.
This is where we started out.
Bob and Stephanie Hughes built this house and passed it down to family.
All three of our kids have lived in it.
It's one of 6 buildings on their property hit by Tuesday's tornado. That includes the family business, Southwest Auction Service.
Taxes.
Hughes says his daughter, who works there along with other employees, got out in the nick of time.
God's watched over me our whole entire life.
But they're certainly not the only ones thankful for safety.
This all fell in last night.
Lindy Lombard's home was hit too.
It's tough to stand here and look at it.
He's well known around here as the fire chief.
I'm used to dealing with other things and other people, but it kind of hits home.
But as power is restored to town and people start to pick up the pieces.
It's weird to find all the little things that are just still here.
Out of the disaster comes the kindness of a community.
At least 500 people since yesterday come out and volunteered.
People who say they need no thanks.
I mean, this is family. That's what we do.
Because when someone here is hurting,
If you live in Southwest Missouri, everybody's your family.
you can bet they'll have help.
I love this community and how they come out and supported my family.
As these people come together to remember, it's the fact that people were protected.
This is all sticks and stones. That's all flesh and bones.
That's really important.
As long as God takes care of the flesh and bones, I can work on the sticks and stones.
It was an incredible outbreak of tornadoes.
Yeah.
What we think were tornadoes. The issue now is getting them confirmed by the National Weather Service, which they're actually doing right now, and you have some new information there.
Yeah, the crews are out. I mean, these are all of the reports that came in last night. Wow. There's flash flood reports, wind reports, tornado reports, and some of these we knew were tornadoes because you were sending us pictures and videos. We saw it.
Now, trees on both sides of the home fell into their trailer, but didn't come the whole way through. If those trees did, they would have come straight through their living room. Now, this isn't the first time Bobby and her family have had to pick themselves up after tragedy. Just last June, Bobby lost her 5 grandkids in a fire in this same trailer park. Now, even though it seems her family can't seem to catch a break, she says she knows there is a lot of people in this park who support each other.
Yeah, but you know, we found a lot of really good friends, and we consider them family through that ordeal, and we'll just all help each other again, just like they helped us in June with our heartbreak.
This is all sticks and stones. That's all flesh and bones. And as long as God takes care of the flesh and bones, I can work on the sticks and stones.
Picking up the pieces while counting their blessings. Tornadoes damaging and destroying dozens of homes in the Ozarks.
Get in there and get out. Get out. Miraculously, no lives lost. The concern tonight, flooding and the possibility of more strong storms. Good evening. Stand by for team coverage of the damage and destruction from those storms. Our reporters have stories of survival and heroism. This is drone video from Midwest Drone Works of the damage that was left behind. We now join Francis Watson live out in the field with more tonight. Francis?
The only thing left standing of this brick house is the front door. Bill and Bernice Walker, they were winding down for the evening when they got a phone call telling them they needed to take shelter. The elderly couple, it takes them some time to get moving. They had just about 15 minutes before the tornado hit their house. And by the time that they did make their way out of the basement, emergency crews, they were already here. Bill is disabled and had to be carried out of all the debris. He says it wasn't until this morning that he was able to get a really good look at what was left of his house. Still, he says none of this matters. It can all be replaced.
If we come out of that with just her and I, that's plenty. And things can always be replaced. You know, of course, we're at an age right now where it's going to take us a little, we have to be a little faster at replacing things, but we can do it.
Like, you're happy it didn't happen to you, but you're sad that it happened to someone else.
Samira Fetchuk echoes the feelings of a lot of people who were spared damage to their homes only to see their next-door neighbor's house torn apart. Her brother-in-law, Eddie Fetchuk, was driving to his parents' house and arrived at the same time the tornado hit. His mom, Valentina, who was in the house, was one of the injured, receiving 14 stitches, while Eddie, who was in his car, miraculously escaped injury.
And I looked to the right side of my neighbors. The house just went gone, and I was like panicking. I thought it was a dream. I was like, there's no way a tornado just passed by my car without taking me or anything. Like, it went over me.
That house next door belonged to Steve Crosby and Kim Spino, who were just one day away from moving to Virginia, where they were getting married and starting a new life.
This was going to be a rental property. We had, like an hour before, called our prospective tenant and told her she could move in three weeks early rent-free, and then the storm hit. She raced in from the garage, said this is not good, and that's when the lights went out, and I was face down on the floor with the whole ceiling on top of me.
As volunteers from Convoy of Hope, the Salvation Army, and James River Church converged to provide much-needed assistance, you couldn't help but notice other signs of irony. This house had its exterior ripped off by the high winds. It still had clothes hanging in the closet, a picture with an unbroken frame, a phone still in its cradle, and a teddy bear watching over a bedroom with no wall. It's why, despite losing her house, Kim says,
it's hard going through your stuff, but you know, I've been laughing today. It's good medicine.
You can see this tree is cracked, and you're actually going to see video in just a few moments, but I do want to show you all of this area here. This entire roadway earlier this afternoon was covered in tree and tree limbs. A lot of those have been pushed off to the side right now, and there's another trailer right in the background here that has a tree the entire way through. Now, in this video, you're actually going to see the two trees that were on top of the mobile home I was first telling you about.